Deloney is a former big leaguer, current color analyst for the Boston Red Sox. Susan, of course, covering the San Francisco Giants. Susan, I want to start with you. What have been your early impressions of Rafael Devers in a Giants uniform?
Exactly what the Giants need. I mean, they just can't bring in big left-handed bats, and their lineup was light, to put it nicely, until this move, but particularly from the left side, and they were getting nothing at first base. If and when he starts playing first base, what a major difference.
Lou?
Yeah.
What do you make of how did we get here? 1 week ago, Rafi Devers was playing for the Red Sox, and they were sweeping the New York Yankees. But now he's going to be wearing Giants colors against the Red Sox. How did we get here?
Well, I don't think there's any question that ownership, management, whatever you want to call it, messed this thing up in the offseason, right? They need to communicate with the highest paid player. There's no question about it. So it goes down in spring training. And I can appreciate a grudge. I can appreciate a guy holding a grudge, but at some point, you got to get past it. When your first baseman's knee blows out, your third baseman's quad blows out, your owner comes out and asks you to do whatever's best for the team. So I think once spring training ended, I'm looking at Rafi Devers saying, hey, it's time to step up for your team. If they want you to go play first base, you should be playing first base.
Fair.
So to watch him play first this weekend, I think that's going to be a little bit rough.
Yeah.
But, Luke, I'll kind of jump off that. Being a former player yourself, that clubhouse, if your big dog's not 100% invested, that starts to permeate into the other guys in the locker room. I don't think they can replace the bat with what they currently have. But don't you think when the dust settles, after a while, this could be a win-win for both sides?
We've already heard 3 players say they'll play wherever they want, whatever the team wants. And you got to remember, too, at the time, before Christian Campbell got sent down, you had 4 rookies in this clubhouse. You had 3 or 4 guys with a year-plus service. Jarren Duran is one of the veterans with 3+. You had such a young clubhouse. The message is sent early in their career. They learned the business just now. The team comes first. I don't care who you are. Mm-hmm. And that's why I say the frustrating thing, we'll see him at first base maybe over the weekend. And the reality is, if he was willing to play first base, he would still be here. And this lineup would be a lot better. I mean, you can't replace Rafi Devers.
Do you think Devers' bat will play in San Francisco?
Yeah, if I'm Rafael Devers, I'm shedding tears for leaving Boston and that ballpark. I mean, I just think it's going to be difficult. That's a pitcher's ballpark. And the idea that no one's hit 30 home runs since the Louisiana Purchase was in escrow tells you all you need to know. I get Barry Bonds was a great player. 30 home runs. We're not talking about 40 home runs or 50 home runs. No one's hit 30 home runs in 2 decades there. I think it's going to be difficult. I don't think the home run is going to travel. Obviously, he has 15 already. This year, it could happen, but it's going to be hard, I think.
I got to tell you that I actually think he's going to get there, and I think he'll get there easily this year and beyond, because when they've looked at his home runs that he's hit at Fenway, the reality is that he would have more home runs if he had been playing in San Francisco than he had been playing in Fenway. I remember on the Sunday night game, they talked about that Devers has 18 doubles this year. 11 of the 18, if he had been playing in San Francisco, would have been home runs. Because remember, his power isn't pull power. His power is to left field, left center field. That's been where he's driven the ball his entire career. And balls that he banged off the Green Monster would go over the shorter wall there in San Francisco. So I do think the power is going to play in a much more significant way than it would in another left-handed pull hitter, where I think you've got the big wall to contend with in right field.
That sounds good, but even if you just go by distance, ballparks don't always play the same way. So I don't buy that. I think that's a pitcher's park. I think it's harder to hit home runs there. I know we look at it because Bonds destroyed the field and whatnot. So we look at that park as a home run park. I disagree. I don't think it's going to be as easy as you think, just by going by distance.
How's everything going, and how exciting is it right now in San Francisco with this deal getting done at Devers in your lineup?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Steve, you're looking good, man. You look good. You look good in the suit.
Thank you, pal.
We're all. I mean, look, you had a guy like Rafi Devers. To me, one of the top top hitters in the game. We're obviously over the moon about having him in our lineup for a long time going forward.
Buster, I want to ask you about your first conversation with Rafi. What was that like? Obviously, as trading for a guy, it's hard to get some intel on him, you know, what kind of guy he is as opposed to talking to a free agent. How was that process? And then when you did finally talk to Rafi, how was that conversation?
Yeah, I mean, you know, you talk to people across the industry and try to get a feel for the person. And you know, what we heard is he's a guy that loves to play baseball. He wants to go play baseball. He wants to be in the lineup every single day. And then, you know, first conversations with him, with myself and Zach and Bob Melvin, it was pretty clear. I mean, he was excited to be a Giant, and just he wants to help us win games any way he can.
Trading for somebody, and this is obviously maybe the biggest trade in Giants history. Is there any trades you can think back on in your career that you're like, holy crap, we're getting this guy's coming? And then when you're negotiating this, are you thinking about the energy that's going to send into the clubhouse and into the fan base?
Yeah, no, for sure. You're taking all that into account. I mean, ultimately, you know, I believe a big part of this job is, of course, we want to have great players on the field and a roster that's going to help us win a lot of games. But to me, Rafi Devers is a star, and our fan base, as you know, Peeve, they've been clamoring to have guys like this that they can show up to the park and root for daily. And you know, like, you add a guy. I mean, I think back in my career when we added a guy named Jake Peavy, I was pretty excited to meet him.
I kept trying to trade for him every year, and I just couldn't pry him away to bring him to New York to play with us. But how about notion?
No, but seriously, in all seriousness, he injected an energy into our clubhouse, and there was a leadership element that he brought that I know that, you know, Sabes targeted those type of guys, and I certainly paid attention to that.
So for Rafael Devers, I mean, he wasn't necessarily known to be a real leader in Boston, but he is a leader swinging the bat. You knew the fan base has been clamoring for that star. You guys haven't been able to get one in free agency, so you got to trade for one. But the idea and the notion of what the fans will feel when this deal does get done, did you feel that building over the course of the negotiation?
I think it was pretty evident from the get-go, knowing our fan base, like I know our fan base, that they would be extremely excited about Rafi being in our lineup. And, you know, as you mentioned, I think Rafi is a guy that's going to lead more by showing up and being in the lineup every day and having productive at-bats and driving in runs. And we feel good about, you know, again, Matt Chapman, Willie Adames is a little bit more the vocal leader. So it's not something that he has to feel like he has to do.
I think the biggest thing is just going to be the motivation for Rafi. Like, I've been traded. You want to stick it to your old team. And I guarantee you, this dude, like Alex Cora said, he's going to want to beat us. He's going to want to make it hurt. He's going to want to hit home runs, doubles, drive-in runs. You know, for him, the key is to try to not do too much. But I guarantee he wants to go ahead and beat his old team up badly. And that's a real thing, whether we want to believe it or not. When you get traded somewhere, you have extra motivation. And he's going to be feeling that. And likewise, you know, those guys are going to want to make sure that they don't allow that to happen. They're going to have to make their pitches. Otherwise, Rafi's going to make them pay for it. But it's crazy to think that this just happened 5 days ago, and here they are playing against each other in two different leagues. I know we play interleague all the time, but it's ironic that it's already happening so soon. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see what plays out.
I let him play first base about 3 hours before game time, doing a little early work. But he's not playing first base in this series. It's too important. You don't want to put him in a compromised position. He's played over 8,200 innings defensively in the big leagues, not a single one at first base. Let's get him ready to play. He'll be more versatile when he does it, but he's not playing this weekend.
You know, Jake, we've got a guy who was a villain in one place who's now the hero and the savior in another place. I mean, they're chanting his name and everything else. Well, how will Devers fit into this Giants team?
He's going to fit in just fine. You see he's happy. He was excited to meet Barry Bonds and what that means to him. Having David Ortiz as a role model to transfer to now Barry Bonds is going to be your next guy holding your hand. And you just see him happy. You know, the San Francisco Giants, my hat is off to. Did you see? I mean, from the time he walked in the stadium, there was smoke going off. They rolled out the red carpet. All the players at the press conference. He's going to fit in just fine. And it shows you with how happy he was, just how and how willing he is to play first base, how unhappy and how dysfunctional things were in Boston, that the move had to be made. You know, so I think it's a win-win on both sides, truly, with the money that Boston's going to spend.
But Boston not nearly as good a team right now as they were offensively. Wilyer Abreu being activated, Kristen Campbell going down to the minor leagues. Where are the Red Sox right now?
I like the Red Sox. I picked them to win that division. I think they have a very, very strong team. I do believe that they are going to try to improve. They probably try to go out. Oh, Toro's playing well at first base. I think they're going to look at first base if they can find one at the deadline. They're going to look to improve the pitching, and they're in a good position, I think. I understand the fans are unhappy, but this is, in my mind, I hate to be Pollyanna, I think this is good for everybody. As Jake said, it's fantastic for Devers. I love to see a guy go to San Francisco and be happy. It's a great city. It's a great organization. They tried so hard to get Ohtani, Judge. I mean, this has been going on for Stanton, Harper. It's been going on for almost a decade where they've been efforting to get one of the top 10 hitters in baseball, and now they have done it. So, I mean, I can see San Francisco's thrilled. Devers is thrilled, and I think it's going to work out in the end for Boston. I know the fans aren't thrilled at the moment, but you know what? $30 million for a guy who's a DH and who's a malcontented DH, it's a lot. So I get it from their perspective. I know they didn't get the right return, but they did save that money, and I hope they do spend it and make it right for all the fans.
If you can't get players to sign to come to your team, then you got to trade for them. It just was surprising to me that a $300 million player didn't have a no-trade clause. That was the most shocking of all of it, right? How did he not have a no-trade clause? He might have still accepted it, but from the Red Sox perspective, this trade is not just about player personnel. This is about culture. It's about a statement about acceptable behavior in an organization, especially when we have so many young players just breaking into the major leagues.
There clearly was a breakdown of communication here. The player feels disenfranchised. He felt like the team didn't value him. Similarly, they felt as if he wasn't prioritizing the name on the front versus the name on the back. There was a negative undercurrent here. It's tough enough to win when you're clicking on all cylinders. It's really tough to win when you have negative undercurrent. My question is, did they overcompensate for that because they just subtracted one of the best players in the game?